And everything he does it with such a nobility, such humility, such kindness and love. And then he doesn't even stop there. He knew that his purpose coming down wasn't to just do simple little tricks here and there, just to heal people, but while spreading truth to save your soul, he knew that there was one more thing he needed to do that you have never ever heard of any other God ever truly care that much. No God, supposedly, if there were other gods, would ever in their right minds, because of their God complex, and they know that they're higher and above you, why should I come down and sacrifice myself for you? I'm going to go through a lot of pain. I'm going through a lot of suffering. I'm going to be whipped and beaten. I'm going to be slapped and have my hair pulled. I'm going to have a crown of some really sharp thorns piercing through my head. I'm going to experience, what was it? Almost 40 lashes. Okay. And then I'm going to, and I've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing criminal. All I did was just talk about my Father, talk about God, talk about the Word, talk about the truth. That's all I did. And you have a whole bunch of evil people here choosing a criminal to live instead of me, when I have never even taken a life and that criminal has. That's how much they hate him for not being a criminal. And no light bulb turned on to anybody in this time right now about that and find that, damn, that's kind of weird, That makes no sense. That's why I say read the New Testament. You see all the truth for yourself, and then you start realizing, man, that's not right. Why did? And then you be like, why did he do this? And then he tells you why he does it. He tells you why he's going through all the beatings and stuff. And he knows what's going to happen next. He knows that he's going to hang on a cross and have these rusty nails literally hammered into his wrist, literally hammered into his ankles. He knows that he's going to hang there, and then later on they're going to pierce his side with a spear. He knows all of that. He knows he's going to be hanging there, not just feeling all the physical pain, but he's going to feel all the spiritual, like the sin. He's going to experience all the sin of all the generations of this whole world, all of it, all on him. And at the same time, he's going to experience his own Father turning his back because God is so pure and so holy. He let his Son put upon himself all the sins of the world. And God hates sin. So God is naturally would look away, because he ain't going to enjoy not just looking at his Son suffer. He ain't going to, it's his nature not to enjoy looking at sin as if it's something to enjoy. So of course he's going to turn his back even on his own Son. But he knew that what his Son was doing was noble. But at the same time, God also had to do what he had to do, because he's holy. He had to turn. He had to turn and let his Son take all that sin upon him. So Jesus does, and then not only that, Jesus dies, and he says, I'll be back in 3 days. And nobody believed it. Nobody believed it. And then what happened? He resurrected in 3 days. And then it wasn't just one or two people. At the end, you read in the Bible, Jesus needs to be real. If not only one, not only two, not only 12 people saw him, 500 people saw him still walking about, I believe, for 40 days and 40 nights. And then he finally ascended to heaven. And isn't that wild? That he also did something that was done in the past even with Moses, about the 40 days and the 40 nights spending with God on the mountain of Zion. It's always the number 40, like 40 years that the slaves were going around the wilderness until they got to the promised land. Always something like that. Always with the number 40, always with the number 3, always with the number 12, and always with the number 7. Those numbers always show in the Bible and always connect. They always go back and connect to Jesus Christ. And I'm like, wow. So all of this proof, and I realized he is being spit on today. He is being mocked. He is being insulted. He is being denied. He is not being accepted. He is being laughed at. And doesn't anybody even find it weird? Wait a minute. There are many other religions that have many of the same similarities and believe many of the same things that Jesus believes and says that we shouldn't do. But there are so much more of what Jesus teaches about your character, of how you should carry yourself, how you should love other people, and so many other things. And I notice all the other religions, it's almost like they give you permission to do certain types of sins, or if you try your best, you never know, or they tell you it's not always guaranteed for sure that you're going to go to heaven even if you do good works. It's always something or another. But with Jesus, he tells you, no good works are going to get you in heaven. It doesn't matter what you do. Nothing's going to get you in heaven unless you believe in me. So the only thing I should do is believe in you, and not just believe in you. It's one more other thing that he expects. And you would expect that from anybody. If you're going to go to somebody that you hurt, or you know that you've been doing wrong, and you go to that person, you say, forgive me, you make an apology. The apology doesn't become an actual apology until you finally show the person that you apologize to that you're not going to do that again. And the person will believe you by seeing your actions. So that's all Jesus is asking, is just for you to believe in him and to turn away from the sins, from the things that you know are not good. So it's good to be promiscuous. It's good to value everyone as they're just an object to make you have an orgasm. And then once you reach that orgasm, they are garbage to you. They are not respected by you, and you must move on. Because either your penis or your vagina is never satisfied. But of course, it can't always interact with the same person from before. You gotta always try someone new. So how is anybody valuing each other if you're all trying each other out as if you're animals? I noticed that the only type of animals, and many other types of animals, and we're supposed to be humans, high intelligent beings, above animals, but yet we behave more like animals than animals do, because animals by instinct, those are the only ones that a lot of animals, and not all, but a lot of animals, especially dogs and cats, if they are outside in the wild, they practice promiscuity, but at least they're not being lustful. They're just horny. They get that time of the season, they're horny. They go do what they gotta do, procreate, and then they move on to another one, and then they move on to another. But then sometimes even dogs sometimes stay with the same female dog. Same thing with cats. But like I said, those are the types of animal that would show a type of behavior that you would think it's uncalled for, and you don't even respect the dog that you're with. You got to keep on moving around, but that's understandable. It's an instinct thing. We are human beings. We are beyond instinct. We are given an intellect, an intelligence, a mind. And yet, we treat each other like dogs. We treat each other as if I just want one thing from you. And I don't know how someone can treat another person like that and even allow themselves to be treated like that and go home happy. Every one of us as human beings are looking for something that not even animals don't spend the time thinking about, but we do. Fulfillment. Something that will finally feel us, that we don't have to keep searching. A happiness, a joy, a love, an appreciation of somebody appreciating us, showing us kindness, showing us care, showing us compassion. It's funny how we all want that, but we don't give that to each other. But instead, we treat each other as just objects, as conquests. We treat each other with the utmost disrespect. We treat our bodies with the utmost disrespect. And I notice, isn't anybody else waking up and realizing, why of all the religions, why is almost the whole world always against one whose name happens to be Jesus? All of them. All of them. It's like, it's funny how people will be careful not to say something bad about Muslim religion, Jewish religion, all these other, oh, no, don't say that, that's rude, oh, that's not polite, oh, that's not, I don't want to disrespect him. But when it comes to Jesus, it's all hell break loose, let's just let him have it, let's talk bad about him, let's talk dirty about him. Meanwhile, he's never talked dirty about us. You would think you would attack someone that attacks you in the same way, but Jesus doesn't attack you. Jesus doesn't do all these hurtful things. And I started realizing it's a natural thing in them, because that's the devil making sure that they never realize that Jesus is the only one. He's the only one that's telling the truth. And the devil does not want anybody to know that Jesus is out of all the other religions, Jesus is the only one that's actually telling the truth. People attack Christians for saying the same thing that Jesus did a long time ago when he went out there and all he did was tell the truth. But for some reason, out of all the other religions, Christians get treated like criminals. And they're not saying anything mean. They're not hurting anyone physically at all. They're just speaking the same language that Jesus spoke. And I notice the language is people that Jesus spoke. I notice it's a language today in this world no one wants to hear, because it actually tells you to stop doing the things that are damaging to you in the first place. Being promiscuous, cheating on your spouse, speaking dirty languages, doing dirty things, watching dirty things, being greedy, making it all about money, being vain, okay, being jealous. Now it's so weird. If Jesus is not in the picture to tell you all this, we all don't like that, because we're all such hypocrites, because it's like, we'll attack Jesus for saying it. But if Jesus wasn't in the picture, we're like that every day. We hate being around phony people. We hate being around fake people. We hate being around people that disrespect us. We hate being around people that judge us. We hate people who are jealous. We hate people who are greedy. Meanwhile, it's such a hypocritical thing, because we can hate other people for doing that, but we don't hate ourselves when we're also doing that to other people as well. It's like, it's like a weird psychology that we have in our brain, that we convince ourselves that when we're doing it, it's not wrong. But when someone else is doing it, then that looks so wrong, and we need to talk about it. We need to trash them. We need to really take them down. And I'm like, but you're the pot calling the kettle black. But for some reason, we find some justification in all that. And then we also enjoy seeing someone else come down, seeing someone else suffer. But we don't want to see our own selves being treated like that, because then we think it's unfair, but it's okay to do it to another. And I notice these are all the things that we don't like to see in other people. So why do we gotta hate Jesus? Because he's the only God out of all the other religions that tells you need to look in the mirror. You need to realize you're doing those same things too. And you're not, and you may think that it's making you feel good, but deep down inside, when you go home and you're all alone, many times until you finally decide to, turn off the conscious, when you finally decide to switch off the conscious switch, then that's when you're finally gone. But before you turn off that switch, I'm pretty sure you're still going home, still That's my cat. She's crazy. She's like meowing like crazy. That's the devil. The devil don't want to. The devil. Every time I start talking about Jesus deeply, all of a sudden she starts to meow or whatever. But I'm not gonna blame her or whatever because she's just an animal, or whatever. She just needs attention. But I wouldn't be surprised. The devil uses whatever to end something. But I just wanted to share that.